You know, when we talk about the AI race, and we talk about it a lot, we generally mean what? OpenAI? Google?
Right, maybe Anthropic or xAI if you're really in the weeds.
Yeah.
The usual suspects.
Exactly. But it feels like we just witnessed this seismic shift. Jeff Bezos suddenly steps back into an operational role.
It's his first since leaving Amazon.
And he drops a $6.2 billion venture that basically just ignores the entire large language model playbook.
Throws it right out the window.
So our mission today is a deep dive into this new thing, Project Prometheus. This isn't about making a better chatbot.
No, not at all.
This whole focus on AI for the physical economy feels like a direct, massive challenge to the dominant digital landscape. We're going to try to figure out why he's making this bet and what it really means.
And what's remarkable is the timing and, the sheer scale of it. This isn't just another startup looking for a seed round.
Not even close.
We're in Q3 2025. AI is the theme globally in the VC market, and a raise this big, a $6.2 billion raise.
Right.
It doesn't just join the market, it fundamentally resets the expectations.
The return itself is just a massive story. I mean, Jeff Bezos has been out of the daily operational hot seat since, July 2021?
That's right.
He's still involved with Blue Origin, of course, non-executive, but for him to jump back in as co-CEO, not just an investor, but an operator.
Right. It signals that he thinks this isn't just another investment, it's something much bigger.
Maybe a destiny-defining mission, to be a little dramatic.
Well, and he didn't just walk onto the field, he landed a freight train on it. We're talking $6.2 billion in initial funding.
Partly his own money, right?
Yeah, he contributed part of it himself. And look, most companies raising that kind of capital are already established, proven unicorns. Prometheus is, from day one, a major player.
And he's not doing alone. He brought in Vic Bajaj as co-CEO.
Who seems, just tailor-made to run this kind of highly specialized deep tech project.
Yeah. So what does Bajaj bring to the table that warrants this kind of immediate, massive confidence? His background it's fascinatingly specific.
Bajaj is the perfect signal that this is about hard science, not just software loops. He's a physicist and a chemist by training.
Okay.
A former researcher at Google X, the Moonshot Factory. And he co-founded Verily, which is Alphabet's life sciences lab, and also Foresight Labs.
So he's the bridge.
He's the bridge, exactly, between the theoretical AI research and the real-world commercialization in fields like healthcare, deep engineering. If you're building AI to tackle physical challenges, this is the guy you want.
And once you have that kind of brain power at the top, you use that massive checkbook to just hoover up the best talent in the world.
That's right. Forget quiet hiring. This is more like a talent vacuum cleaner. The sources are saying the startup has already quietly poached nearly 100 elite researchers.
From what?
Specifically from the deepest wells of expertise, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Meta. When you raise $6.2 billion, you're not just buying office space. You're buying the most scarce resource there is. The people who can actually build these systems.
So they've got the money, they've got the talent. What are they actually building? The mission statement is AI for the physical economy.
Right.
To me, that sounds like they're trying to engineer products, revolutionize industries, aerospace, cars, drug discovery, not just generate text or images.
And that's the crucial distinction. That is the whole philosophical break. They are betting that large language models, the things that generate text and code, they hit a ceiling.
A hard ceiling.
A very hard ceiling when it comes to real-world physics, manufacturing, material science. So Project Prometheus is focused on something different. World models.
World models. What does that practically look like? What is that?
It means building an AI that can understand and interact with the physical world through observation, through experimentation, just like a scientist in a lab.
Okay, so less like it's reading the internet.
Much less. And more like it's physically running 1 million scientific tests and learning from the data that comes back. It's about achieving spatial reasoning, complex planning, applying the laws of physics.
Which explains the name Prometheus.
It symbolizes that foundational scientific innovation.
Yeah. That's a really powerful idea. It sounds like they are basically agreeing with the harshest critics of the current digital-first AI models.
They absolutely are. And we know prominent figures in the field support this view. Meta's chief AI scientist, Yann LeCun, he's one of the strongest voices, saying that the current LLM approach is, quote, a dead end.
And the criticism is that these models, they don't really understand anything, right? They're just trained on text.
Exactly. They lack true understanding because it's all just digital data.
And LeCun has that great, very visceral example of what's missing. He compares LLMs to a surprisingly modest standard.
He does. He points out that current LLMs are nowhere near the intelligence of a house cat. And it's a striking image, but it makes a lot of sense. An LLM cannot visualize a cube rotating in space and predict its new orientation.
Right, it doesn't have that spatial reasoning.
It lacks spatial reasoning, planning, sensory understanding, because it only deals with symbols. Project Prometheus is aiming squarely at solving that fundamental gap, giving AI a grasp of reality.
Now, it's important to mention they aren't the only ones charting this path, though they're certainly the best funded. This physical AI concept has other players.
That's right, yeah. There are other startups carving out similar paths, specifically Periodic Labs, which is automating scientific experiment labs, and another one called Physical Intelligence.
And Bezos is in on that one too, isn't he?
He is. He's an investor in physical intelligence as well, which just shows his commitment to validating this entire subsector, even beyond his own flagship project.
And you know this conversation wouldn't be complete without the requisite tech rivalry drama. What was Elon Musk's immediate, predictable reaction to all this?
He went straight to X, of course. He posted, haha, no way, and then just the word copy in a cat emoji.
A copycat classic.
It's the highest stakes trolling on Earth, but it definitely fits their long-running narrative.
And this rivalry has some deep, very high-profile roots, doesn't it?
Oh, it absolutely does. We've seen this before. It goes back to Musk accusing Bezos of copying ideas when Amazon announced its plans for satellite internet.
To compete with SpaceX's Starlink.
Exactly. And then again when Amazon acquired Zoox, the self-driving car company that rivals Tesla, this $6.2 billion bet is just the latest and most expensive front in their competition.
That rivalry is always good theater, but it brings us back to the money. The scale of this, the $6.2 billion, is wild, but it's part of a much bigger trend we saw in Q3 2025.
It is.
How does this raise fit into that massive global funding explosion?
It just confirms that AI is the definitive engine of the VC market right now. Project Prometheus is an outlier in size, sure, but it's thematically aligned with the other blockbuster rounds from Q3. Anthropic raised $13 billion.
$13 billion.
xAI raised $10 billion, and even France's Mistral pulled in $1.5 billion. Global venture capital is just pouring resources into this sector at a scale we've never seen.
And that funding surge, it has to have driven some renewed optimism in the broader market, which must be part of why Prometheus is launching now.
Precisely. The overall global VC investment rose significantly in Q3, up to $120.7 billion. It was fueled by AI, but also by a critical macro trend, renewed optimism around liquidity pathways.
Meaning the IPO market opened back up?
Exactly. The U.S. IPO market reopened with some really high-profile successes from Figma, Bullish, Klarna, and that signals a much healthier exit environment for startups. So investors are more willing to take these massive early-stage bets.
And this optimism wasn't just for pure software or LLMs. We saw huge capital flowing into the physical side of innovation, which that seems to strongly validate the Prometheus strategy.
Yes, deep tech investment is exploding. Investors weren't just throwing money at chatbots. They were heavily backing hardware and deep science.
Yeah.
We saw massive raises in quantum computing. Sequantum got $1 billion. Quantinuum got $594 million.
Defense tech too, right?
Defense tech also drew huge capital, with Beta Technologies raising nearly $500 million. It all points to investors seeking tangible, hard science challenges that require enormous capital to solve.
So this deep dive really shows us that Bezos didn't return to run some simple software company. He's betting $6.2 billion that the current digital AI models have basically run out of road, and that the real gold rush is in applying AI to fundamentally remake physical industries. The next frontier is moving past generating text and into real-world engineering.
And I think the takeaway for you listening is really to watch this shift in focus. The cutting edge of AI development is moving away from generating believable text and is moving towards solving these complex real-world industrial challenges.
So the next big breakthrough might not be something we chat with.
Right. It might not be something you chat with on your phone, but something that designs new materials, or manufactures next-generation aerospace parts, or dramatically speeds up drug discovery. We're moving from information synthesis to physical innovation.
And this kind of physical innovation, it requires massive capital, aggressive talent acquisition, years of real-world experimentation.
It's incredibly expensive and hard to get right. Which leads us to our final provocative thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Since these world models require this massive, dedicated, real-world infrastructure, highly specialized and very expensive talent, and just endless physical experimentation, something very few can actually fund. Is the future of revolutionary foundational AI development now functionally restricted to just a handful of hyper-wealthy individuals and corporate giants? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.